And we should be live. Good evening, everyone. It is Friday, September 9th, just a few minutes after 7 p.m. And welcome to what I think is my fourth stream this week. Yeah, I did an e-bike stream on Sunday, and then I did a walking live stream on Tuesday where I ran into Ken. Then yesterday I did one on the new e-scooter, which I was pretty happy with how that one turned out. It was a lot smoother than my previous e-scooter streams. And then today we're doing this one from home, so that's 4 streams, one of each different variety that I do, and I see a lot of people in the chat already. Sanjan Kingston, Vivian Johnson, Marie Palmer, Cleanup Man, Sapand TTC Explorer, Gertej, Steve Peter Paul, John Amira, John Burke, Jeanette Morales is here, Dylan Reynolds, Brad Palmer, Sheena Roberts, Abe, COVID Hippo, Kathleen Doss, Michael Nguyen, Yahia Marge, and here's the part where I lose track if I've read your names or not, so everyone else, thank you for joining in and welcome to another Friday Night Live. I have not yet made a video today, so I'm going to have to step out later tonight and get a night video in, which I think will end up on the channel on Sunday. I do have one scheduled for tomorrow that was actually supposed to be today's video. Today's video was kind of a backup video. I was going to go refilm this evening, but long story short, I ended up having to use it, which is one of the reasons why it's good to have these backup videos. So let's get tonight started off with a drink. This is my last from the 6-pack of Muskoka Brewery beers I got from the LCBO not too long ago. This is a Muskoka craft lager. I don't know what percentage it is, but I'm sure as long as there's something in it. 4.8, so it's a regular strength beer. So cheers, and I hope you're all having a good Friday. Jeremy says, go Johnny, go. You rock. Thank you. The Minecraft player, do you think the Blue Jays will clinch a playoff spot? It's going to be hard for them to miss a playoff spot. I was reading some of the math on that. Anyways, cheers. And I see our CEO, Vivian Johnson, is here. Picard 2005 is here. So I got a few things on the agenda tonight. Agenda? That sounds a little weird. I don't normally have an agenda. I'm going to give you guys an update on Charlie. I have some pictures of him. I'm just going to talk a little bit about a bike controversy that has sort of resurfaced in the city once again. Maybe throw my 2 cents in, although no one really cares what my opinion is. And as well, I have a walking video. It's only about 15 minutes or so that I recorded just for this live stream. And then earlier today, I did a scooter stream coming back from babysitting Charlie, or scooter video. So I got 2 new videos. A few things to talk about before that, and if we make it through that and there's still time or we still have lots of energy and I don't feel like going outside just yet, we could maybe rip through some comments as well. As always, keep it casual. Feel free to chat amongst yourselves. Feel free to ask me anything and everything. If you do, just note that I might slap your message on the screen. Tech Needs Tea says, hey y'all, been a while. It has been a while. And you've maintained your wrench, Tech Needs Tea. Hopefully all is going well for you down in Chicago. So some of you might be familiar with Charlie. He's where's my thing here? He is, if I go Johnny Stumbles dog walk, he's a friend's dog who I sometimes look after. And I did this video 2 months ago where I took Charlie for a walk. He had a lump on his paw that started bleeding, and it was not going away, so Charlie's owners took him to the vet. They suspected it was cancer. They did x-rays. They sent off a blood sample. So yesterday, Charlie... I better take that chat off the screen. So yesterday, Charlie went under the knife. He had that cancerous region of his paw removed. They also removed another lump that they weren't sure what it was, but they thought, let's play it safe. I mean, we're operating anyways. We might as well remove it. Tech Needs Tea member for 3 months. I maintained my wrench and my membership. P.S. Look for a surprise in a few seconds. All right, Tech Needs Tea. Thank you very much for your support. So long story short, the parents can't always be at home, and this dog has mass or really serious separation anxiety. So I just said, hey, I'll be happy to look after him whenever you're not there. So that meant a little bit last night, and I also went over there this morning to see how he was doing. Tech Needs Tea has gifted 5 gold tier memberships to viewers. COVID Hippo was gifted a membership. JT Smith, Bernadette Marie, Reggie Gagnon. Wow, Tech Needs Tea. Thank you so much for gifting those memberships. I think this is something that when it was launched, I wasn't sure how that worked, and you were the first one to do that, and now you've done it again. Tech, thank you so much. Hopefully people who were lucky recipients of that will appreciate their memberships. Some of them I think I've seen before, but they're more silent in the chat. That's okay. You don't always have to chat or ever. So thank you again, Tech. And just looping back to Charlie, since we're on the subject. Yeah, so I went and hung out with him this morning because both his parents were at work. And I have some pictures of him that I thought you guys might want to see. So here he is. The tumor was on his paw. So he can't really walk that well. He just kind of hobbles around. And since he shouldn't be gnawing on his paw, he's got to wear... The vet gave him a cone, but they gave him... I mean, his owners bought him this thing, which I think is a lot better than one of those cones. Also, he can lay his head on it. So there's Charlie, and that's how he's doing. There's another picture of him looking rather sad. Lisa says the cones are shit. Yeah, I think pretty much it's almost always recommended to get them something like this. And there's the other lump he had removed on his side. So I think they're into this for like well over $4,000. They did not have insurance for Charlie, so this is a very, very costly but very necessary thing they did. And yeah, so I just wanted to... I know some people always ask me, how's Charlie? How's Charlie? How's Charlie? Often when I do my live streams, I kind of end up in East York just so I can walk him on behalf of the owners before coming back, because I don't have a dog. I'd love to have a dog, but also the logistics of me having a dog are kind of annoying, especially if I want to go away. So there we go. That is the status of Charlie. I will keep you updated probably on the other channel, Johnny Stumbles. He's got to wear... The bandage is coming off soon. I think the impacted area will heal much quicker without the bandage. So that's coming off. But he gets that neck brace off in 2 weeks. That's just to prevent him from gnawing on it. And at that point, he should hopefully be close to recovered. He's already like kind of moving around. When his dad came home today, he kind of raced to the door, but it looked a little painful. But that is the update on Charlie. And yeah, if you want to see videos of me walking Charlie, you can see those over on my other channel, Johnny Stumbles. All right, Charlie, I'm going to minimize your picture now. And thanks for the well wishes and kind words about Charlie in the chat. And thank you again to Tech Needs Tea for gifting 5 channel memberships. Holy shit. So there's now 5 new gold tier members. And lucky for those gold tier members, I have not yet done a exclusive members video this month. So the other thing I just wanted to kind of quickly talk about was since I am out on 2 wheels in the city almost every day, I'm really, even though I drive when I can, not really a fan of car culture, if you couldn't guess, especially not in a big city. And there's been a growing sentiment that cyclists have been unfairly targeted in the city lately. And what happened was, here, I'll just pull up this. This has been in the news where police have been ticketing cyclists in High Park, which I'm not totally opposed to. If you're ripping down an area above the posted speed limit, I'm sorry, but you kind of get what you deserve. I don't have any sympathies for that. But if you're slowly rolling through a stop sign in a manner that's entirely safe, I got a big problem with that, especially given the state of driving in the city and how there's just zero enforcement on that. Yet in High Park, where there hasn't been a serious bicycle incident in over 15 years, they're ticketing people for like rolling through stop signs. And they were also doing it on Shaw Street And here's a guy like literally hiding behind like this bike share post, watching people slowly roll through stop signs and giving people tickets, which just really rubs me the wrong way. Let's not blame the cops, the individual cops. They're just following marching orders like anyone with their job. They're just going out and doing what they're told. It clearly comes from higher up. So the reason why this bugs me so much is rolling through a stop sign slowly is known as the Idaho stop. And it's been proven time and time and time again that it's safer than actually coming to a complete stop. Plus there's the whole momentum thing of stopping and going. If you don't believe me, just Google it. There's a million articles, there's a million YouTube videos that show how it works. All right, bye Dylan Reynolds. But anyways, today someone by the name of Derek Lind caught this kind of ironic video on Twitter, and I'm just gonna play this for you in a second, but thank you very much for the 200 Japanese yen. Can we get a translation on this? Ryama Kanata. I can never remember this. I always translate it. I have no idea if the translation is correct or not. But thank you very, very much for the 200 yen. It is much, much appreciated. And thank you again, TechNeedsT, for gifting 5 channel memberships. One thing you may have noticed is once school started going back, views, not just on my channel, but like a lot of channels like are way down. So kids, stop being so into school. Start getting back into YouTube. I know it's only been a few days since you've stopped watching YouTube so much, but really, you know what to do. Just watch YouTube while you're in class. And now with university getting in full swing, it's getting even worse. So yeah. And I just got a notification that TechNeedsT has gifted 5 memberships. So thank you again, TechNeedsT. COVID Hippo says, I agree. Come back to YouTube kids. Well, it's honestly taken like a 30% chunk out of our views. It will eventually get back. Fall is just a shitty time for views anyways. But if you're wondering why views are so down, I think there's a correlation there. Anyways, I'll just let the video speak for itself. So the police have been ticketing people for slowly rolling through stop signs, a perfectly safe move. Yet what do we have here on the Esplanade? Not just failing to stop at a stop sign, which, by the way, they did absolutely nothing wrong there, in my opinion. They did absolutely nothing that was unsafe. If anything, that was a textbook Idaho stop. If you notice how slow they were going. I have no problem with that. I just have a problem with the hypocrisy of them giving tickets to other people for doing it, as if they're targeted. Also, they are kind of being asshats because they're riding 2 abreast, which you should never do when you're in the bike lane. It is a super asshole thing to do, but that's besides the point. We're just going to keep watching, and coming up upon another stop sign. Oh, that was a crosswalk. There's another stop sign coming up. Independent Mind says people on High Park speed through. Yeah, if you're going to ticket someone going like way above the speed limit, endangering other people, I'm not going to complain about that. But people who do maneuvers like this, like safely and slowly rolling through a stop sign, meanwhile they're doing it themselves, like, come on. This guy's also putting that they didn't signal their turns, but I do signal when there's other people around, but when there's no other people around, I actually don't signal. I'm guilty of that too. Call me a hypocrite. And then they come up to this stop sign, or sorry, this red light, which by law you're supposed to treat as a stop sign. Also, we're no longer on like a quieter street. And they just roll right through it. So I think, I'm not trying to shame them, but I think it's pretty hypocritical that one arm of the law is enforcing a law that they don't even practice, right? If they're not on their way to a call or responding to an emergency, shouldn't they be held to the same standards as everyone else. I don't know. I think that's just kind of logical and common sense. So again, nothing against those individual officers. I actually thumbs up what they're doing, riding through stop signs. I think it's perfectly safe, perfectly fine, but whoever is ordering them to target cyclists, they can go F themselves, in my opinion. Anyways, there we go. This is on Twitter by Derek Lynn. There's also a big thread on Reddit about it as well. I had some people messaging me like on Instagram in my privates asking what I think about this. I'm not like an authority on anything in Toronto, but I thought, okay, I'll address it. I'll give you my thoughts on it here. But maybe everybody on the roads should brush up on what the rules are, right? Just make it safer for everybody. Anyways, that is that. So I have a few new videos to play. I did kind of a fun one on Thursday. Was it Thursday or Wednesday? I took my e-scooter in to be repaired. And while I was waiting, here, let's do a poll actually before. Since we all know what the Idaho stop is, should the Idaho stop be legalized in Toronto? Simple yes, no. Yeah, so on Wednesday, I took an e-scooter in just to have a brake adjustment. In fairness, I screwed up the brake and I couldn't put it back. So I took it into to repair and run on Queen, and I have already done a few videos in that area. So I came up with an idea where I was going to let an app choose the direction I went. So basically, do I still have the app? Every time I came to an intersection, I would press the app and it would tell me left, right, or straight, and that was the direction I would go in. So I recorded a walk and I started at Repair and Run and I ended up in a park, and then my e-scooter was ready and I had to walk from the park back to the e-scooter shop. So this is the walk that I'm about to play right now. Let me turn off the background music just so we could focus on the walk. So I am in Alexandra Park. Lisa says, oh, I like this. That'll be tomorrow morning's video. That was supposed to be this morning's video, but I screwed up the map animation and it didn't render properly. And I didn't catch it until it was like too late last night. So that's why we got the video we did this morning, which I was actually going to play tonight on this stream. Lisa says, if I think too hard about the route, all I can see is the photos you've taken. But some of the problems with that are like, what if it goes like right, 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 and it's just looping me back? So I made some rules, like I can't walk on the same street in the same direction twice. If there was a right turn but no other turns, I would press it, and if it told me to go right, I would. If it didn't choose right, I would keep going straight. So I might have some fun with that concept and play around with it and hash it out a bit more. Stuart asking the real question. Have you seen the new iPhone 14? I wouldn't call the iPhone 14 new. It's basically almost exactly the same phone as last year with some minor changes. The Pros are new, which are the ones Apple wants to force you to buy by actually making them, I don't know. I'm not excited at all. Camera's a little better. The dynamic island is quite possibly the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life. But maybe it's cool in execution. I don't know. I am not really excited at all about the iPhones. I think they shit the bed big time. There's really almost nothing to be excited about. Just my opinion, as someone who is live streaming this from an iPhone as my camera. That said, there is one feature I do like. I think they called it Action Cam, where it stabilizes the video a lot in a handheld factor. And if they could let third-party apps do that, like Prism or Streamlabs, something you stream with, that would be revolutionary, because it would allow me to go out and stream without a gimbal, without that big, huge gimbal in my hand. You would literally just be able to handhold it. Also for like the bike and scooter streams, it would super duper stabilize those too. So hopefully Apple lets third-party developers plug into that, and if they do, I'm going to buy the iPhone 14 Pro. So that is the one feature that I'm excited about, and I will buy if they give third parties access to to that camera. Ryan Ride says they shit the bed when they put the power button on the side. Yeah, I'm not a very pro Apple person. We're streaming this on a PC. Tex says that would be great for you. That would be great for you with your Walking Man Dude-esque handheld streams. Joe's Crayons is here. Hello, Joe's Crayons. Lisa hates Apple, so it's a nope for her. Independent Mind is waiting on iPhone 20. Maybe that should be the next poll. So this poll, should the Idaho stop be legalized in Toronto? 78% said yes. 22% said no. Mike Landry, $5. Hello, Johnny. Hello, Mike Landry. Thank you so much for your $5. Hope you are doing well out on the East Coast. Thanks again, Mike. So I'm going to go ahead and end this poll. 77% say yes, the Idaho stop should be legalized in Toronto. And just to be clear, that is treating a stop sign like a yield sign. 24% said no. So I think 24% just hate cyclists, even if you drive, the Idaho stop is better for you. Like, would you rather wait for a cyclist to come to a complete stop and then go again? Or would you rather them just roll through so you don't have to wait so long? It's like win-win for everybody. Anyways, thank you, Mike Landry, for your support. Will you buy the iPhone 14? Yes, I'd get the regular 14/4. Do they call it the Plus or the Max? Here, I'd get the Pro. Either size is good. No way. All right, the poll is up. Let's see who would get the regular iPhone 14, which is basically an iPhone 13. Who would get the Pro and who wouldn't? Let's see. Lisa says good skies on this one. Yeah, nice blue skies, fluffy clouds. Fact Zero says Pro and I should have put Pro and Pro Max, but we'll let people. Really, there should be more questions in this because even like a big iPhone fanatic who just got the 13 is probably not going to want to get the 14. Oh well. Vivian Johnson just got a 13. My CEO is using an Apple product. Oh no. Chris Mills says, would you buy it outright? Yes, I don't believe in getting roped into phone deals, even with carrier discounts. I'm not a fan of that. Hey, get off the sidewalk. Get off the sidewalk. So we are heading east on Dundas Street West here through Chinatown. Lisa Palmer likes Android too much. MC Byte, that is probably true. Liz P has the regular 13, good for years. Also, if you're in the States, the 14 won't have a SIM card tray, which is fine if you never travel. I guess, like, I used an eSIM when I traveled, and it was like an okay experience, but I still kind of like, you get better deals if you just buy like a disposable SIM card at the airport when you arrive and get a bunch of data and slide it in. So I'm not a fan of getting rid of the SIM card tray. Sanjib says, hey Johnny, next year you'll get an iPhone 11 Pro or Max. Sheena says the new iPhone costs over £1,000 here. No way. That is too much. That is a lot for a phone. But then again, any like modern Samsung or alternative is going to cost that much. Maybe not the Pixel 6a. So we are turning south here onto Spadina, and I'm going to head down to Queen, and then we're going to walk over to Repair and Run. Whitby Dude is here. Hello, Whitby Dude. MC Byte, cameras really, all the cameras in modern smartphones are good enough. Like, we're really, really splitting hairs at this point. The one thing I would like to see is get rid of those green orbs in night video. Those kind of annoy me. Also, I think 8K video is pretty useless. Even if you're like cropping and zooming, 4K video is enough. 8K video tends to kill your battery, kill your storage, make your phone nice and hot, and there's often limited recording time on 8K. Plus, no one has an 8K display. Like, it's utterly pointless at this point. Unless you need to like film from a distance and do like a super crop. Even then, just shoot in 4K. Steve says he only uses a GoPro 9. The stabilizer is very great. I still have my GoPro 9 sitting in front of me, which I never ever use, but I do agree it does have amazing stabilization. Ian Johnson is not a perfectionist. The 8K TV is still expensive. Expensive, and where are you getting 8K content from? Like, is Amazon streaming in 8K? Is YouTube streaming in 8K? Can you get 8K Blu-rays? Like, I just don't think that's a thing. Pod says Apple is better at battery life. Depends on the model, yes and no. You can get some chunky Android phones with bigger, better batteries if you look for it. So there is the Dragon Center on the right. Back to talking about the walk. Jeremy says, what kind of flavor of bubbly is your favorite? There's a real question. Lime. Lime reminds me a lot of like a not sweetened, like a 7-Up that's healthy. That's kind of what lime reminds me of. I quite like it. As someone who grew up drinking a lot of 7-Up. JD says, did you see the Ultra Watch? Yes, that is chonky, and it's like as expensive as the base model phone. But hey, it'll tell me when I'm ovulating, right? Apparently that's like one of the big new features. Sorry, I'm not qualified to comment if that's useful or not. Steve Peter Paul says, oh yeah, you never told me about the exit intersections. Let's see if we come up upon one here that we can show. There might be one actually coming up. JD says it's big and chunky. FM 303 says, hope you're well, mate. Any thoughts on the Queen passing over here in the UK? Lots of mourning here, but was intrigued how things are in Toronto. I heard that Elton John gave a bit of a tribute last night when he was holding a concert here in Toronto. Me personally, I'm not that attached to the monarchy. It's like super duper intertwined in our system. Like it would be like billions and billions of dollars and a real hairy ordeal to exit the monarchy. So other than looking at her on what, the $20 bill, is that what she's on? I don't really personally, it doesn't really hit me that hard. It obviously sucks, and I feel for the people that care about her and for her herself, but I don't know. The people have been talking about it like it's a big deal, but here's a person who is not a big deal pretty much your entire life, and then she passes away and she is a big deal. Like, that's kind of the way things are in Canada when it comes to the monarchy. When there's a royal visit, it's big news, and then a day later it's not news at all. So that's just kind of the reality. I'm probably not qualified to tell you what the general sentiment is on that, but amongst myself and my friends, there's been not even like a WhatsApp message about it. Like, so I guess in my circles it's not a big deal. But definitely sorry. But hey, but apparently, from what I have read, she's one of the better monarchs, like one of the genuinely good, caring people, which is rarer and rarer in those kinds of positions. So it sounds like you lost a good one. Sanjib says, hey Johnny, do you record a video with your iPhone? No, I don't. No, I don't. Reading some of your messages. I'm not the right person to ask about the Queen, unfortunately. Or I guess now the King, right? King Charles. I do remember, I have like a coin. When he married Princess Diana, my grandparents got like one of those Royal Mint coins commemorating their wedding, and they gave it to me. And I still have it in like a box in my closet somewhere. Sanjib says, hey Johnny, can I see your iPhone? I'm using the iPhone to record this stream. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Maybe you want to see it? Maybe if I put the selfie camera on? Where is it? There's the iPhone. There you go. You can see the iPhone. Liz 279, happy Friday. Thank you, Liz. Thank you very much. Novelka says, I think she seemed like a lovely person and she performed the role well. I'm not into the institution of the monarchy, but that's a separate issue from her as a person. Very well said. Much better said than I ever could, Novelka. And thank you again, Liz, for the 279. Whitby Dude, I gave an update at the start of the stream. Charlie is... he's getting by. I think we're going to see some big improvement in the coming days. Stuart says, do you like soccer? When the World Cup is on, I'm one of those people. I'm guilty of not really watching it. All right. Just read your response, FM303. Thank you. Is football popular in Toronto? The Toronto FC games are very popular, if that's what you're asking. Football, soccer. Is gridiron football popular? Toronto's not really a town that takes to it, even though there's a sentiment that we should have an NFL team. The Toronto Argos, our football team, you get the feeling that it's mostly like suburbanites supporting it. People coming in from the Mississaugas and the Oshawas, or the outer boroughs like Etobicoke, Scarborough. There's not a lot of buzz within the city itself for the Toronto Argos. But there is like a pretty small but hardcore fan base outside of the city that support them. I'm more of a Buffalo Bills fan. I watched the Bills last night. I drafted Josh Allen for my fantasy team. I also have Singletary as my third running back and Tyler Bass as my kicker. Ollie BHG remembers I was filming and people were watching a big soccer match maybe last year. There's some bars in here that have a lot of like UK expats that fill up in the mornings with like English Premier and that sort of thing. Bobar77 says, man, this video is incredible. Thank you. That video is over. So that was me walking from Alexandra Park to Repair and Run. And then this morning I woke up and I actually took my laptop over to Charlie's house. That's where I hung out in the premiere. And then I rode back here and I recorded that ride. But I took a bit of a detour because I didn't just want to record the same old ride that I always do. So this is me getting on the Pegasus City commute scooter and riding this way. Actually, I went to pick up my lunch. So we're going to end up at a restaurant where I boldly left my scooter on the sidewalk without being locked up. And I was watching it like a hawk, anticipating having to run out and tackle somebody. But fortunately, it didn't happen. Clayton drafted baby kangaroo from Australia in his fantasy football team, the Looney Tune team. You're not going to do very well with that, Clayton Crawford. Bertej says, what kind of lunch? We're going to find out what kind of lunch. It probably should be something you can guess if you know me. Let's read some of the messages. Who's Jaw says, hi everyone. Happy Friday. Hope you all have a great weekend and had a great weekend. Thank you, Who's Jaw. That's right, Novell Koss. So I'm going to turn right here at Pape, and we're going to go up through Pape Village up to O'Connor. Then I'm going to go check out the view, whose name I'm forgetting. Why am I the Chester Hill lookout? Gertej is guessing A and W. How does winter recording feel like on the cold side? I actually like it. I like walking around in the cold. I do a lot more walking around live streaming in the winter than I do the summer, you'll notice. I just like being out there when it's cold a bit more. I'll probably do less biking. We'll probably see the ratio of like e-bike to walking live streams totally change in the winter as I walk a lot more and bike much, much less, because who likes having their face frozen and a constant faucet of runny nose coming out? But we'll see. For now, just reading your messages as I forget what I was saying. Hey Johnny, can you make some comment? You want me to answer the comments? Maybe we could do that after this. Nightbot has been sending you suggested memes lately. Marge says, news said a big police presence in Toronto. Apparently there are 80 events going on. There's a lot of events going on. A lot of them, there's like the big Asian festival up in Scarborough. There's one at City Hall I'm going to go check out tomorrow that I think might be kind of neat. So I'm going to go incorporate that into a video. There's a big music festival down at Ontario Place. So there is still quite a bit. Then next weekend we got the Roncesvalles Polish Festival going on. And I think the Ukrainian Festival up in Bloor West Village is also going on at the same time. So that's going to be a good one for me from like a efficiency point of view. I'm going to record one, go record the other, and get 2 videos in one day. So that'll be kind of cool. Silver CS says lots of closed roads in TO this weekend. Enos says, where's the Ukrainian festival? I believe it's in Bloor West. Canada has the biggest Ukrainian population outside of Ukraine and Russia. So, yeah, it's going to be, I think, just given what's going on in Ukraine, I think there might be a bit of an extra oomph to that event. And given that lately it's been pretty much all good news that Russia is actually getting pushed back and ceding territory and getting their ass kicked, I think maybe there'll be some cause for celebration. I don't know. But I'm going to, either way, that's here and there, I'm still going to go and take in the festival, and we will get a video on it. Salazar 26, 99 cents. Thank you very much for your support, Salazar 26 and the 99 cents. Very much appreciated. So we are going north up Pate Avenue through Pate Village. It's been a while since I've been here. Nina says, looks like the Ukrainian festival is next weekend. Yes. So I think the Roncesvalles Polish Festival, which is also in kind of the same part of town, I think both festivals are going to be loaded with great food. Eastern European food is super underrated. So I think if both festivals are going on, I would highly recommend just getting out to that part of town and walking through both. Maybe start at Queen and Roncesvalles, walk north up Roncy, and then just hop on the subway and take that over to Bloor West Village. You get 2 for the price of 1. One festival can be kind of a lot to go to your way to go to. You might walk through it and it'll take like 30-40 minutes and you'll say, okay, now what do I do? But if you get 2, I think it's probably worth doing. Back Zero says that's where I got my fish today. Yeah, there'll be a lot of good food going on at both of those festivals. Will you buy the iPhone 14? 12% said yes. I'd get the regular 14. 18% are going to pay the Apple tax and get the Pro, and 70% said no way. I should have put like a no, I already have a recent iPhone as an option too, instead of like an emphatic no way. There's a whole art to polls and kind of shaping people's responses by how you code your answers. Really, you should do it in a manner that's neutral. I used to work for a polling company, but yeah, I totally dropped the ball on having a fair and neutral poll, but oh well. Rory says, great camera work. Thank you. Well, I have an iPhone with, and you can have a Nokia with Snake. Who doesn't remember playing Snake on their phone? I remember that. I think I had the 3360, and I also had a 3390. One was Fido, one was Rogers, and that was actually switched from Fido to Rogers. I think the 3390 was Fido. And this was before number porting, and I had a sweet 416 number, and I had to stand in the Rogers store for like 2 hours while the poor guy got me a 416 number, because I was not going to 647. And this is in like the early 2000s. I worked in Square One, so it wasn't that hard to keep going and checking in on the Rogers store to see if the guy could get me a 416 number, but apparently it's not that hard to get anymore. Dem says the 3310 followed by a Motorola Razor to feel cool when you had your flip phone. I never had a Razor, but I knew a lot of people that did. Then they had that really thin, like, candy bar style one. Nina says, why 416? Back when they launched 647 numbers, 416 numbers were, like, really hard to get for some reason. I think they were really trying to push 416 numbers, or 647 numbers. It was to the point where, like, you could bribe them to get them at, like, the cell phone stores. Like, they were in pretty high demand. I think now if you want 416, you can get it. It's not a problem. Liz P got 416 and have never lived there. Rogers store in Mississauga. Yeah, that was the thing. I lived in Mississauga too, and I had a 416. Oh, hello, Maroof. Chris Mills had a 289. That reminds me of like a Seinfeld episode. Like, if you met someone in a bar and they gave you a 289 number, did you even call them? Did you follow up on that? It was Elaine who got assigned a new number with not the normal New York area code. Bill Chow says, correction, if I win the lottery, you'd start buying all Apple products. You'd be buying pain and misery with your fortune. Lisa Palmer, don't worry, never need to apologize for your comments. So we're going south on Broadview. I'm about to make a right and head over to the Chester Hill Lookout at some point. Capri says, have you ever gotten a citation for speeding on your e-scooter? I've never sped on an e-scooter, so no. When you're on the roads, your speed, whether you're on a bike or anything, your speed limit is whatever the speed limit, the posted speed limit for traffic is. They are one and the same, unless you're on a multi-use trail or something like that that has a posted speed limit, in which case I stick to the speed limit. But yeah, I'm going about the fastest I would be going in this is 32 kilometers per hour, because I've got the scooter locked into that speed, so I could not be going faster than that. Reading some of your messages. That's way too fast on a mobility. Yes, it's a mobility scooter. It's a wide tire city commute scooter with dual suspension that could easily go 40 kilometers per hour and be perfectly stable. But I actually don't like going that fast, so I'm going to limit it. I limit it to 32. Marge says, for years we had Vonage and had a 919. Strange. I don't even know what 919 is. Rory says, very smooth turn. Yep, this couple in front of me is also heading to the Chester Hill Lookout. So it got kind of awkward when we were there. I was like, just gonna record the area. And they were standing there. What's your favorite style of beer? Probably IPA, but I'm not that picky. So here we go. Unfortunately, due to all the growth on the left side, you can't really see the downtown skyline or the financial district. Felt like a third wheel. Yes, I was crashing their party. Hey guys! I'm here. I just followed you. So that is like Young and Bloor off in the distance. Young and Bloor and Yorkville. Once fall hits, you get a much better, more expansive view of the skyline because there's no leaves on the trees. So I will come back in the fall and include that as part of the video. Crystal says, where do you get your haircut? Well, I can tell you where I used to go. It's a place called Momo. But I started off paying like $30 a haircut, and I'd always tip 5 or 10, whatever I had. But now it's gone up to like over $50. So I'm in need of a new Good place to get my haircut. I've been totally redoing everything. That's Bayview below, Christos. I've been totally reorganizing where I shop and get all my regular stuff, just because everything's just like spiraling out of control and getting way too expensive. So if you know of a good, not expensive place, let's say under 35 bucks, where you can get a good men's haircut, let me know. Put it in the comments below. And if they do a good job, I'll be happy to talk about it in a video and hopefully get some business their way. I'm just 50 bucks for a haircut. Like, what is going on with the world? It is mad. Sorry if you're a hairdresser and that's what you charge at your place. I just think it's out of hand. Ice Cream King says, what is this lookout called? This is called the Chester Hill Lookout. Marge says, bowl and scissors, let me know. Can do it for free. Salazar paid over $90 for their haircut and coloring. That's a little different. You got a service, you got a coloring. You probably got to make a day out of it too, like a trip to the spa. You got to sit there, huff a lot of fumes, maybe get a little high and dizzy, have a conversation with someone. Because I'm a guy and I have relatively short hair, it's literally like 15 minutes of haircut. Like, paying 15 bucks or 50 bucks for 15 minutes just seems like a ripoff. Bill Chow says, go to Chinatown for cheaper haircuts. I went to that one in East Chinatown. I paid $14, and I literally showed the lady a picture of me, like a selfie from my last haircut. And I was like this? She was like, yeah, I can do that. She didn't do that. It wasn't even like close to that. Like, I still had bangs. In the picture, I did not have bangs. And when I like tried to clean it up later, it wasn't right. So maybe I'll give one of those cheap Chinatown places another go, just not that particular one. I don't know. Break out the Flowbee. That's the type of thing I should get into making videos on, right? Where to get the best affordable haircut in Toronto. It's really probably more of a Johnny Stumbles and Johnny Strides kind of video. John Ramirez says you get what you pay for, but sometimes you pay 50 bucks and you get a $20 haircut. So, all right, Maroof. It's called Hair J. O'Brien says haircuts are brutally expensive. Sorry for the people that have hair. O'Brien goes to a real barber, not a salon. There's an idea, but there's a lot of like hipster places, like Miami Fades and places like that charge even more. So I don't know. I also got prompted the other day to like tip at Subway. Like, the girl gave me the machine and it was like 20% was like the default. And I was like, this is Subway. And when I hit skip, I got a dirty look at a Subway. Like, I'm all for you making a fair wage, and you know, we're all struggling and fighting to get by, but we should not be tipping at takeout. Put a jar on the counter. Let me tip my loose change in there, right? If you went like above and beyond and you made me something that's not on the menu, you know, you did something extraordinary, I will tip you at a takeout. But takeout restaurants. Yes, no. Sometimes. So I'm going to make this a poll. Do you tip takeout restaurants? Yes, no, sometimes. The sometimes means like only if they like went above and beyond for you. In which case I think it's fair, right? Sometimes at Subway they do give me a free cookie. But then you're like, if I tip you, you're literally stealing from Subway because I'm giving you like $1 or $2. So I'm just buying the cookie without buying it from Subway. I'm buying it from you, right? It's like, what is happening here? What's the transaction, right? It's kind of like when, anyways, that reminded me of that Seinfeld episode where Jerry had the cleaning lady over, and then rather than clean the apartment, they were doing something else in the bedroom. And then at the end, she asked Jerry to pay her, and Jerry's like, what am I paying for? Right? It's kind of the feeling I get. Pack Zero says, I tip the junk people, but that's just because I had a lot of loose and heavy stuff. However, I don't think I've tipped at a fast food. Yeah, if someone comes to your house, I tip depending on what they're doing. When the guy came to install my fiber, I was like, do you want a drink? Anything in my fridge is yours. Do you want a snack? No, like I didn't tip him, but I gave him a Diet Pepsi. Lisa says, I tip well at dine-in places. I don't eat out often, and when I do, I go for it, so might as well. The only other person I tip is Miranda for hair, and she deserves it. I don't get my hair cut enough. Didn't you give me a tip to go to Miranda before? 21st Century says service charges added onto restaurant bills, discretionary charge. FM 303, we don't tip in the UK unless a fancy restaurant with great service, but the system is different, so I'd always tip in Toronto in restaurants or bars due to their base pay levels. Base pay levels have gone up, but if you're like dining in, yeah, tipping is pretty customary, reflective. It used to be 15% was satisfactory. Now somehow some places are like defaulting to 25%. Like, whatever, if you had a good meal, anything less than 15% is considered an insult these days. But this poll is about takeout here. Do you tip takeout restaurants? 18% said yes, 58% said no, 24% said sometimes. I would fall in the sometimes, just because every once in a while they do something above and beyond. Especially at Subway, I have some crazy requests. Brenda Chavarin says, I'm going to Toronto next week. Thank you for all your videos. I love you. Greetings from Mexico. Wow, that's...
I'm going to Toronto next week. Thank you for all your videos. I love you. Greetings from Mexico.
A very kind and much appreciated message. Thank you, Brenda. I hope you really enjoy your time in Toronto, and if you have any questions about the city, feel free to drop them in the comments, and maybe myself or one of our regular viewers who can help out can answer. But thank you very much for your 50 Mexican pesos. Ben says, I'll give Jason at the Fox and Fiddle Wellesley credit. He'd let me load a few happy hour beers in the tap to have close for happy hour. Why did I read that so slow? But it's neat. Ice Cream King says, I'm new to Toronto as well, and your video does help a lot. Thank you, Ice Cream King. So now we are going west on Bloor Street. So the west of the way. The rest of the way should be pretty typical. But we do end up at the place where I get my lunch. No, it's not going to be pretty typical. I do, rather than turn north up Yonge, I was cognizant of that, and I just decided to take another one. Claude Ahmed, welcome to Gold Tier. Welcome to Channel Membership, Claude. Thank you very much for joining in. Also, greetings to our new 5 channel members, courtesy of Tech Needs Tea. Whippy Dude says the default on the machine should be no, and you can choose more. 100%. I don't mind if actual restaurants prompt you to tip first. I get insulted when like the default is like 25%. It's like, what? But yeah, takeout, that should be that should not be something you're shamed into doing. 21st Century says exceptional service, then tip. Lisa says I went from like no bell to like bell, ding ding ding. I've kind of decided to use the bell more than before. I've always sort of relied on being verbal. Look at this guy in front of me. Did you guys see that? Did you see that? Where's this video here? Scoot. What are we watching? Can we just rewind this for 1 second here? Watch this. Pay very, very close attention to the rider in front of me. So we are approaching Bay Street here. Car turning right. Okay, so this is just about the stupidest and most dangerous thing you could do. This car was at the intersection first, and it had initiated its turn. Yes, there's a solid line here. It's got nothing to do with whose right of way it is, and everything to do with, is this safe or is this stupid? Making a right around a right turning vehicle is beyond stupid. You are asking to get hooked. You should not get mad here. You should not shake your fist at the driver. What you should do is stop behind the car because they're about to hit you, and they were actually at the intersection first. In Toronto, it's confusing. You have to pay attention to the markings, and it's totally not consistent based on where you are as to whose right away it would be. But either way, in this situation, squeeze around the vehicle to the left or come to a complete stop and just wait for it to turn and then go. Do not turn right around a right turning vehicle, regardless as to whose right away it is. It's just a recipe for turning yourself into a human pizza on the sidewalk. Too many times I see cyclists get angry at drivers in that position, and it's just a huge eye roll because half the time the cyclist isn't even in the right. So there's that. That just bothers me. COVID Hippo says it's kind of like that back in London. It's atrocious. Whippy Dude says more content for your next compilation. Yeah, I tend to go left. I tend to look over my shoulder, and if I have room to squeeze left, I do. Unknown says he didn't follow the Idaho law. Well, there's so many things wrong with that statement. It was not a stop sign, so the Idaho stop doesn't apply, and there's no law in Toronto to apply for that. No worries. Feel free to ask your questions. We still have not seen the X on the ground yet. Hopefully that situation pops up. But this is north up Bay Street here. Ravel Costa seen some of the London cycling compilation videos. Guys, I have a video that I think I'm going to play on my Sunday night stumble stream that is mind-blowing. I sat down in front of the big screen today and I watched it, and I was super, super uncomfortable. And it takes place in Toronto. So I'm thinking I'm going to watch that on my Sunday stream, just because it's kind of shocking stuff. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if it... Anyways, we'll save that for Sunday. Tune in to my stream on I'm not trying to plug my other channel, but we're gonna watch that and kind of react to it together. It's only like 14 minutes. We might skip through some parts, but it's really, really hair-raising stuff that we're gonna watch. Christo says, have I ever been to Farm Boy? Yes, there's a Farm Boy down the street from me. I've been a few times. I bought their cookies once, and their cookies were excellent. And then I saw the prices of everything else, and I thought, I should never come back to Farm Boy. It's a very, very expensive place. Although apparently they're more affordable than the Loblaws and Metro. Just reading some of your messages. Nabel says, wow, now I'm intrigued. Well, you're going to come to the stream anyway, Nabel. So I'm trying to get some new viewers in here. Just kidding. O'Brien Wilkinson says, holy smokes, we coming up to 80k subs. Yes, the channel is at 79,000 subscribers right now. Exactly 79,000. Let me see. What are we at? $79,009. There we go. There's the Jeanette says 100,000 in no time. I don't think so. Oh, the last 20,000 is going to take at least a year at this point. That's okay. It's not all about getting as many as possible. Plus, every once in a while, there's a lot of dead accounts that are inactive, and YouTube purges them. So every once in a while, I lose like 200-300 in a day. It's like, thanks, YouTube. So there's going to be a lot of setbacks along the way. Grotej says 6.2k on the other channel. Lisa says, I'll bet you $5 it'll be less than a year. I could easily make it not less than a year. Like if I didn't stream on New Year's is like a big one. If I didn't stream on like a few of the bigger events that unfold, like during the Freedom Convoy protests, New Year's, like those big streams that get like 10, 20, 30,000 views in total, or some of them had like that many live viewers at once. If I don't do that, then I think we can keep it under 100,000. But would I want to sabotage my own growth for $5? Naughty Brown says, "Hi Johnny, glad to see you're in mourning. Feels very weird having a king now." Well, I am personally not in mourning, but I feel for those who are. And yes, there's a king. King Charles. If you haven't noticed, I'm not great at betting, but you're all right. Fem303 says, "What were your thoughts on Amsterdam?" Here's my thoughts on Amsterdam. Remarkable biking infrastructure. Remarkable infrastructure, period. Not a foodie town. I will tell you this. I ate well, and it was surprising. I guess Toronto is so expensive. When you go to another major city in Europe and you don't think it's expensive, that just tells you how expensive things are here. So I did not find it that expensive. I'm sure there would be more sticker shock in a city like London. But I was just blown away with how pedestrianized it was and how good the cycling infrastructure was. Would I trade it for Toronto? Not in a heartbeat. While it's beautiful and every time you go around a corner, there's literally a postcard scene, I also found it to be kind of homogenous. All the buildings are of roughly the same size and scale from the same era. Whereas Toronto's kind of a much more cosmopolitan city. Different parts of it grew at different times. Yes, our architecture can be absolutely hideous in places, but I feel like we have more of a soul, we have more of a heartbeat if we're to compare it. We have an advantage over every other city on planet Earth just because we're so not homogenized. And that's really what I love about Toronto. And that's also what I love about New York and a lot of other places. Whereas I feel like the Netherlands, even though they do so many things better than us, I feel like it's sleepy, like it closes really early. Like after 11 p.m., even a lot of the bars and stuff are like winding down. So it's a much sleepier place. It's less convenient. Good luck just trying to buy a can of Coke after 10 p.m. Everything is like closed. It's just different. It's different. I would love to go back someday, but when I want to live there over here, not a chance in hell. Much prefer here. Not an insult to there at all. It just makes you appreciate what we have. FM203 says, "Wow, I'd say Amsterdam was expensive, so that's interesting, having lived in both. You prefer Toronto?" Christopher Haydock, £3. Thank you very much. Christopher Haydock. Thank you very much. All the way from the UK. Naughty Brown says London is 100% tourist. I was watching a video today on the B1M about how there's very little affordable housing left in London. Everyone is driven further to the outer rings. Look at this jackass. Good driving. So it's kind of interesting. I really like watching that channel. Lisa says, "Turn it down. You can't hear me." Sorry, the noise was too loud? Oh, I guess I was booking it up a hill into a wind, so it got a bit noisy. Sorry about that. I'm actually going to turn the sound back up because I'm going to go to the little boy's room. So enjoy the video while I go away. I'll remember to turn it back down when I get back. Liz P says the moon is blood orange tonight. I'll turn that down. Neat. I'm going to be going out, I think, in a few hours. Come to Whitby, totally non-touristy. Also, super suburban-y, lots of stroads. But this is North on Yonge. We are almost at the very nice restaurant. Who can guess where I went or where I picked my lunch up from and left my scooter in front of? Jennifer Gala loves my night videos. Thank you. Maybe I'll record 2 tonight while I'm out there. I have 1 in mind that I want to do. Lisa says perhaps I could do Nuit Blanche. When is Nuit Blanche this year? Do we know when that is? I don't know when that is. Nuit Blanche. I remember a few years ago my walk around went out at night and did it quite extensively. October 1st. Hopefully I'm not in Thailand on October 1st. Sheena says those bike lanes aren't very wide. Do you get no, it's not the cars that worry me. It's people just darting out in front of them. That is the much bigger concern. You'll just notice in my videos, there's just so many people that like just step foot in the bike lane with no notice, no warning, without looking. That's really the big concern here. It's not so much cars. And yes, this person in front of me was literally going like 5 kilometers per hour. Like that wasn't me being a jerk going really fast. That was just someone going ridiculously slow. So the results of the polls are in. Do you tip takeout restaurants? 19% said yes, 60% said no, 21% said sometimes. Lisa says Thailand is a super good excuse. I haven't yet bought my ticket. I'm trying to corral some friends into going. I just think it might be a more fun experience if I can not go solo. There's a few people that might be taking the bait. It always helps when you offer to cover a hotel room. Did you know the Thailand YouTuber retired working for you? He's visiting South Korea now, but he's based in Thailand, Jennifer Gala. No, I don't. I do remember the YouTuber Kev in Thailand, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago, but I did get the chance to meet him. That was before I was a YouTuber, before I even had a YouTube channel when I met him. I remember going to a bar, and it was like, meet Kevin Thailand, and he had a big sign that said 20,000 subscribers, and I remember being awestruck. Like, wow, this is like meeting a celebrity. And he sat down with me and my friend, and he had a drink with us. Really, really great, sweet guy. It's absolutely heartbreaking that he came down with cancer of the esophagus, and he chose to get his surgery in Thailand instead of going back to the UK. Apparently, if he went back to the UK, he would have had to have waited like 6 months to get back on their medical system because he had left for so long. So he opted to like just pay for it out of pocket and get treatment right away. But sadly, it did not work out. And he was like documenting it the whole way along on his YouTube channel. Anyways, there's too many questions or too much talking. Do you want to ask you a question? Are ATVs allowed in Toronto? I don't think so, no. They would be allowed on private property, but certainly not on the roads. Naughty Brown just read your message. Lisa says, please turn the volume down. This should be pretty down. Where am I going? You can see the restaurant. You can see the restaurant on the screen. I will leave the poll up for 30 seconds. Go poll, go. I put up the place I'm going to. Liz P says Subway. Fact Zero used to call that Tim Hortons Planet Head Hortons, low-hanging potted plants. Unknown says Tim's. Colin says Tim's. Sanjay says Tim's. Sheena says Hortons or Subway. 21st Century says Subway. Subway leading it. I'll let this go for 15 more seconds. Lisa says have some standards. Naughty Brown said Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons has a pretty wide variety of lunch stuff. Everyone's saying Tim's in the chat, but everyone's voting Subway. Vivian Johnson says Subway. Here's the deal. If you choose the wrong one, I don't know. I don't know how to enforce anything. Anyways, let's just go. Where am I going? It's neck and neck. John O'Meara says Tim Hortons dark roast coffee is minimally acceptable. Brad Palmer. Brad might know what's up. Fad hates Subway. Notice me being a good little boy and walking my e-scooter across the crosswalk. Whitby dude, that was the Subway on Danforth. That was not this one. This, and we walked by. All right, so everyone, and the poll was 50-50. The poll was 50-50. Keitherton says it's not the greatest food, but it's everywhere. They got rid of the $5 footlongs, and they got rid of the Subway sub of the day. Although we never really had much of the $5 footlongs in Canada. That was very short-lived here. That did live on in the States. Unknown says who tips at Subway. I don't know. I don't. And yes, I just left my scooter in front and walked into a Subway and turned off my camera.
Times. Here is the incentive.
John says there must be better choices nearby. Clayton Crawford, $2. Timies, here's an incentive. Thank you, Clayton Crawford, for the $2. That is super appreciated. But I had a foot-long Subway with spinach. Whenever they have spinach, I get spinach instead of lettuce, tomatoes, onions, green pepper, pickles, banana pepper, Subway sauce, and yellow mustard. Cheese, not toasted. That's my jam. I always thought I was the one who said cheese, not toasted when they asked me how I wanted to make it. Lady comes in right after me, and they're like, how do you want your sub? And she was like, cheese, not toasted. And I was like, you stole my vocabulary. Chris Mills says, Jays 1, Texas 0. Thank you for the update. I was expecting Eugenate to give the update. Liz says, nice. All right, so we're all out of videos. We've done the Charlie update. We talked about the hypocrisy of enforcing. Yes, it's a ham Subway or a ham submerge. We talked about the hypocrisy of enforcing some of the very unnecessary. Anyways, about the cyclists and the stop sign. We did the videos. We're a little early. I like these to go about 90 minutes. Let's do some quick comments to close out the evening. So I'm just going to go through comments on recent videos here. Tim Hortons is the only previous employer you have no issues going back to as a customer. Awesome. Good to hear you had a good experience. Ever been to Ken's Burrito Boys? No, I haven't, Whippy Dude. Brad Palmer, towards the Subway Fund. Thank you, Brad Palmer. Often I get a 12-inch and I'll eat. My plan is always to eat half for lunch, put the other half in the fridge and eat it for dinner. But I just ate the whole 12 inches all at once. And then tonight I had a healthy version of Cinnamon Toast Crunch for dinner. It's like an all organic, low sugar brand. It was on Amazon for $3.99. All right. Fritz says Google Maps is crazy.
The Subway Fund.
And Amsterdam never chose this road between tram rails and cars. The traffic lights are in front of the intersection 2130 steering height. With bicycle, red bar means end of cycle path, shared cyclist plus pedestrians. Best regards. All right. He was clarifying some of the questions that I was asking on my bike video through Amsterdam. It's always interesting to have a local perspective. Can you recommend a place to eat a good poutine near to downtown? You want to try it? I would have said Poutini's. Honestly, most pubs, in my experience, have a good poutine. I don't know of any place that has. There's a place on Danforth that has a fantastic short rib poutine. But most pubs, in my opinion, make a solid poutine. I'm very rarely disappointed in the quality of poutines. Maybe just Google if you're really looking for a next level kind of poutine. But I'm not a food snob. To me, good is good. Caleb says that dog taking a poop on the street is exactly how I feel about the condition of Yonge Street too. It becomes evident just how much cars ruin cities when they are removed and we are left with crumbling concrete, huge intersections, no landscape, not even a small bush, bland storefronts, blank facades and massive advertisements you could see from outer space. Womp womp. Hey, I don't agree with everything he said, but we're all entitled to our opinion. Thank you for contributing. I will give that comment a like. Cars do belong in our cities, but not so much. I think roads were not designed for cars. Roads were not designed for cars. There's like a newsflash. If you don't believe me, you can look it up. Dennis says $10. Thank you. I'm going to pin his comment just as a way of saying thank you. You're welcome and thank you. Does that make sense? Someone says thanks, you say you're welcome and thank you. This was on yesterday's live stream. Over half a battery still. Look how much smoother that is than my previous e-scooter live streams. That's like as smooth as my e-bike live streams. Unfortunately, there was like not great sun glare yesterday, but I'm pretty happy with how that stream went, at least from like a camera smoothest point of view, because I don't use a gimbal when I do the e-scooter streams. Did you guys notice that? Wasn't this like a little bit more watchable? Normally you get like a bit more of like bouncing around and a bit more side to side sway when I do the e-scooter streams. So I thought this was like maybe the best one from like a stability point of view. Sheena really likes the Pegasus. Yes, I love the Pegasus. I'm obligated to do a review on that. I've never done a review. So next week, that'll be my side project for the week, is doing a scooter review. Probably just going to walk around it and talk about it for a bit and then jump on it and take it for a ride. I hope the folks at Varla accept that as a review. They did say do a review in your style. Christine Camley, she is a member for 5 months, a top commenter, and publicly subscribed to me for 5 months. Uh-oh, Johnny, that bell is cringeworthy. I jump every time I hear it. People make mistakes. Yikes, get rid of the bell. Okay, I'm gonna heart the comment, but I don't know. See, unfortunately, bells are a necessary evil. They're required by law and provide, and they're required. I got to be careful with how I word that. Bells are a necessary evil. They absolutely are. They're required by law. And they're universally recognized and understood when rang that a bike is coming. Right? That's true. It's kind of like a universal sound. The alternative would be yelling at everyone as a safety precaution, so I prefer the bell. I don't think I overuse it or use it when it's not necessary. Only when people create unsafe situations. Cheers. And need to be alerted. I think that's a pretty fair and diplomatic answer. Client Man says yelling is like telling them. Yeah, I just think I used to yell. I used to just be the verbal. There's always cyclists that do that. They'll say it on your left and you know they're passing you on the left. And I do that too sometimes. But I think the bell, it's just like a sound that everyone knows. Everyone is programmed to know that. You hear that, you know a bike is coming. You look down, oh shit, I'm in a bike lane. And people can react to that accordingly, right? Or if someone's like parked in a bike lane and they're just sitting there with their window open, yeah, like ding your bell as you go by. Like get the hell out of the bike lane. You're endangering everyone by being there. So let me read this again. Unfortunately, bells are a necessary evil. They're required by law and they're universally recognized and understood when rang that a bike is coming. The alternative would be yelling at everyone as a safety precaution. So I prefer the bell. I don't think I overuse it or use it when it's not necessary, only when people create unsafe situations and need to be alerted. Cheers. I think that's a fair response to that. I get it. You don't like the bell. Maybe it's triggering in a video. You don't like to hear it, but it's like a safety device. It's required. John O'Meara says A+ composition. I don't normally reread my messages before I send, but Christine is like super friendly, and I very much appreciate her support. So I'm gonna give her a response worthy of her concern, I think. Luke K 1216 says, "You've never been to this part of the city? Yeah, you have, bro. You must be smoking some good Canadian kush. You've literally made videos, which I have in my playlist somewhere, where you show this exact Toronto sign when it was first made and placed there. You've never been to this part of the city." What did I actually say? 1216, right? What did I actually say? I've been to a lot of places in the city, but I can't say I've ever been to this part of Nathan Phillips Square. I said I have never been to this part of Nathan Phillips Square, which is true. I have never been in the middle of the water at Nathan Phillips Square. Not smoking anything, bruh. I hate the word bro and bruh. I just said I had never been to that part of Nathan Phillips Square, which is factually correct. I tend not to wander out into the middle of the pool. Unless I was sleepwalking and found myself in the middle of the pool before ... There we go. There's my response. So he's accusing me of smoking something. Literally, I was just saying, like, how often have I... What? Listening comprehension can be a thing, folks. Christopher Haydock. Anyways, this was a cool moment. Like, this platform was set up just for a festival that was going on. So how often do you get to like walk right here and get right next to those fountains? Unless you're that crazy guy from Ken's video who unfortunately destroyed a bunch of very meaningful artwork that was being auctioned off for a good cause. Naughty Brown says, when are you visiting your mom? Hopefully in a few weeks, let's say that. I got COVID and that set me back and I didn't want to go anywhere near there until I was better. Now I've been kind of babysitting Charlie. So sorry, Mom, if you're watching. I've had some excuses, but I will make it out to Niagara at some point. And I'll bring my camera with me. That was me. All those trips. We'll try to do a live stream or at least get a video out there. Whippy Dude says bells are necessary on multiple. They're not. They're necessary everywhere in the city, right? Like they just are. David says, pretty cool, Johnny. The artists look like they were having fun. Hi there. I may come to Toronto. How can I see you? Questions like this, I just skip. Sepand? I noticed Ken says Sepand. Don't worry, Nadia. It's almost over. Hey, Johnny, great walk tour around the Toronto International Film Festival. Hope you had a great time. I also hope Charlie's feeling better. Aw, thank you, Sepand. Is it Sepand or Sepand? How do you pronounce that? How to say Sepand?
Journalist, روزنامه‌نگار. Journal.
Oh, come on. That's not even close to what I asked.
Sepand. Sepand.
There we go. Sepand. Sepand.
Sepand.
There we go. If anyone ever wants to fight me over it, bro, it's Sepand. There we go. We nailed the pronunciation. Christopher Haydock. Hi, Johnny. Just got back and watched the stream. Visited a friend. His taskmaster wife roped you into log chopping one of their large trees that got damaged, and you had to be made safe, but they have a good winter supply of logs. Where do you live, Christopher Haydock? Are you living, is your next door neighbor like Paul Bunyan's ex-wife or something? That sounds pretty crazy, but glad you made it. Whippy Dude says, does my mom watch my vids? She is aware I have a channel. She is aware I have this channel. Good evening. Name I cannot pronounce. It's an escalator. Just enjoy the ride. Those things are fun. No need to walk up the steps. So this is on today's video. Lisa, you said there were no juicy comments. All right, so if you want to stand on, like, here's my thought on escalators. If you want to stand, stand. If you want to walk, walk. Don't tell other people what to do. If you want to stand, stand on the right. If you want to walk, walk on the left. It's not rocket science, right? It's the same with the mask thing. If someone wants to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask unless it's like required because you're in a hospital, right? Like, we shouldn't have opinions on what other people are doing. Let them just live and let live, right? That's kind of... So this comment here kind of rubs me the wrong way. Walking on escalators is optional. Walk left, stand right. I choose to walk. It's not an amusement ride. They're just moving stairs. And I'm not a fan of... No. I'm just going to leave it at that. Walking on escalators is optional. Walk left, stand right. I choose to walk. It's not an amusement ride. They're just moving stairs. Yeah, because they said just enjoy the ride. Those things are fun. Who has fun on escalators? Who the hell has fun on escalators? Like, what? Just enjoy the ride? Okay, you enjoy the ride. If you have fun, the right half of the escalator is tailor-made for you to have fun. I wouldn't mock you or make fun of you, but don't tell me not to walk if I like to walk. I don't know. That bugs me. I don't like being told what to do, and I don't like telling other people what to do, unless it's like safety related, right? Hi, Squirrel. Lisa, you told me that there were no good comments. Lisa has small town friends. There are those people. They will gladly march up the escalator on the left side. They'll like walk really fast. Then when they get within 5 feet of the top, they'll stop and freeze and like carefully step off of it. I almost walk into those people every time. Like, if you can't handle stepping off a moving escalator, move to the right and stand there. Don't just like slow down and stop and block everyone behind you. You're going to get run over, right? Like, if you can't handle it, then just stand on the right. I think there was like something in the 80s where someone's like shoe got caught in an escalator once and it like got destroyed, and this picture made it all around the news. And ever since that one event happened, people have been like terrified of escalators. You can literally stand there on an escalator all the way to the top and not step off, and nothing bad's going to happen. They're designed that way. They're incredibly safe. We don't have to worry about that. There would be accidents all the time from people that weren't paying attention, like texting people, right? Getting their feet ripped up because they didn't step off an escalator properly. It's not a concern. But if, hey, you don't like stepping off of it, cool. Just do it on the right side. Don't stop dead in your tracks in front of me and do it. Okay, we're getting more into Johnny Stumbles territory here. Dylan Reynolds says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dylan Reynolds. Ray Crew, when you first started walking videos, they were silent. Would you do it differently if you started over again? I'm starting walking videos for my city and don't know if it should be silent or narrated. I don't mind my voice, but won't show my face. Hey, there's a I started talking because my videos were really no different from the other 24 Toronto walking channels that were silent. It's really up to you. Just make the videos you enjoy. Maybe try both and see how they do. I don't know. Either way, good luck. Yeah, I started narrating just because my channel was literally no different than like a million other of the walking channels. So I started talking, and then yeah, the rest was history. Independent Mind says I can't watch silent walking videos. Way too boring. I've got a request from a certain channel member in the chat right now to do a silent video, but I think it's at night. FM303 says, random one, Johnny, to finish up before bed, but if you want to end on a different note tonight, my best mate is in Toronto, has released a song, Troy Mama Didn't Raise No Fool, and he's amazing. All right, I will shout that out. I cannot play other music on here. I get in trouble if I do that, but I'll... What is going on here? The iPhone that I use as a webcam is ringing. That is what's going on. I didn't put it into airplane mode. Got to get a Forever Night theme going. Dun, 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 dun. Michael says, I've had a high-powered scooter in the past and multiple e-bikes. I've noticed that with speed comes rapid brake wear. How are the brakes on the Pegasus? The brakes perform amazingly well, but I cannot speak to their longevity yet. Cheers. Yeah, I have no idea how long the brakes are going to last. Sheena says, I really like your narration on your videos. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome, FM303. You walked by me today when you were filming this, and I was frozen in fear. 2002 is where you can see me in shock of being in the presence of Johnny Strides. Should we do it? Should we go look? 2002. In fact, we're in Linen chat. Is that him? Oh, he's looking. He recognizes. Oh, look at those eyes. Sometimes when I'm like looking for thumbnails and stuff, I notice people's eyes always like dart right at the camera. Well, hello. Next time, say hi. I don't bite. Well, next time. What people don't realize is they might feel like a little shy, awkward, embarrassed. I feel kind of the same way sometimes, just walking through traffic holding a camera, right? Like, we're all human. We all feel these things. It's kind of funny when you speak to somebody and you feel like maybe I'm being a creep, maybe I'm being weird, and then they like respond in like a friendly way back to you. It's like the best feeling in the world. Just as like a basic human emotion, right? Even it's like a total stranger on the sidewalk. Like you see something like happen, like a car almost runs someone over, you look at them and you just say something and then they respond back to you, and like you get that feeling like that's something we kind of got away from during the pandemic. And I think just those basic little like human connections and being friendly to one another, I would like to see us get back into more being like that. Toronto already has a reputation of being a bit cold towards people. It's not creepy just to like say hi to people. Well, maybe it is. Depends on the situation. Don't listen to me. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival. Nice ride. It was beautiful weather too. Speaking of that, those connections are still alive and well. You promised Toronto is good. Good. I think this stream, even though things are moving along well, I'm going to want to take a little bit of downtime and then get outside and hopefully do a night walk tonight. Whitby Dude says if you walk a dog, lots of people say hi. I noticed that when I was walking Charlie when he was living with me. Alex says when I met you for the first time, I was kind of shy, but then I met you the next few times and you had confidence. Yeah, don't be shy around me. I'm just an idiot with a camera. I'm not anything special, just a normal person. But I'm going to go have a cup of tea. I'm thinking maybe we'll take a very dark walk through Kensington Market. This might be a little later, and then I've done so much of the downtown core. Maybe I'll go west. What is west? Little Portugal or Little Italy? Maybe I'll do one of those two. I'll do Kensington Market to either Little Portugal or Little Italy. And then I don't really have a good route out of there. I'm going to be stuck waiting for a streetcar or bus. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. That's what I'll do, but I'm not going to do that for a few hours. Independent Mind says do some trails at this hour. Tom Bike says Tiff was insanely busy earlier. Yes, unlike my video where Tiff was not busy at all. Vivian Johnson says night very early. See you in the premiere tomorrow morning. I hope. Thumbs up, please. Thank you, Vivian Johnson. Lisa says good night life there. Alejandra says definitely not an idiot. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thanks to those who sent support. Huge thanks to Tech Needs Tea. She randomly gifted 5 people gold tier channel memberships, which is awesome. Thank you, moderator Tech Needs Tea. Thanks to our channel members, Patreon supporters, everyone who just joined in and chatted. Don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. We will be back Sunday night on the other channel, Johnny Stumbles, unless something comes up. I'm probably going to be watching football all day Sunday. Football is back. I was watching the Bills play the Rams last night on DAZN. Yes, that's where I watched it. Anyways, thank you for watching, guys. Let me see if I can get my end button. Have a good night, and I will catch you at the premiere tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. if you so dare choose to join in. All right, thanks, guys. Thank you, Vivian. Yoink.